Hey guys, Red02 here. We're going to do part 2 of the home-built tow behind backhoe. We got a roughly 8-gallon hydraulic tank all done up. We got the motor somewhat in the area that we're going to put it, and did some other cross bracing. So let's see what else we can do. So all my parts and fittings came. Oil filter, hoses, quick disconnects, oil filter housing, welding filler neck, welding bungs for the oil tank. So everything's here that we need to get this backhoe done. And then here's our hydraulic pump. I believe this is a 3.2 gallon per minute pump, I want to say. The Harbor Freight tow behind backhoes are supposed to have a 1.2 gallon per minute, and they're supposed to be super slow with the motion of the bucket. So I went ahead and got a larger pump. That's going to be the hydraulic tank. It's a 12 inch by 12 inch by 14 inch. It's going to hold about 8 gallons of fluid. I'm not going to fill it totally up. Just going to give some more room for expansion, and got to have enough fluid for it to be able to cool down decent enough. The motor's probably going to go there, and I have it set up on that side because one outlet of the pump is on the left, and the inlet is on the left, the outlet is on the right. So on the left hand side, it gives me enough room to run the hose up and around and into the tank, and then the outlet will come underneath the tank and attach to one of the quick disconnects. So the engine's going to go over here on the left side, and the battery is probably going to go over here. The tank's going to sit in the middle, and then if need be, I'll leave room to put cinder blocks or steel weights or concrete weights, whatever, around back over here if need be. But with the almost 7 or 8 gallons of fluid along with the motor and the battery, I believe there's going to be more than enough weight on this thing to counteract the backhoe weight. So I got the tank all done. We got a 3/4 inch bung on this side about halfway up. That is going to be the return line. You're going to get the filter housing right here before it goes into the tank. And then we got a 1-inch bung down here at the bottom of the tank that's going to supply the pump. I got this breather slash fill up cap to go on there. Gonna probably just paint this up black. And then I still got the pump down there partially installed. I'm going to go ahead and pull this motor off and make a cross bracing down on there to support it up some more. I went ahead and put this 2x1/4 cross brace in to tie in all 3 of these top mounting points for the backhoe. I got this 3-inch channel to mount the motor. It pulls up the engine a little bit higher, so that way I get some more wiggle room with the coupler down there. So I'm going to pop this off real quick, and I'm going to weld the nuts on the bottom side of these channels to make it a little bit easier to mount and unmount this motor. As you can see, I just welded on the 4 nuts for the mounting bolts, and then you can see the little coupler that goes on there. Another coupler goes on to the pump, and then there's this little rubber bushing that goes in between the two to help vibration and stuff like that. So I'm going to get this motor back down on the framework, and then I'm going to weld them up to the frame, so that way that portion is done. I went ahead and made a battery tray. I got a little slot cut out of there for the hose to run through. The hose has to come off this nipple down underneath and back around to the pump way down there. So that's just held on by 5/4 inch bolts. I drilled and tapped out the holes down in there. I got my exhaust halfway done. Did this curly Q sort of design. I'm going to put a pipe on it here and angle it down. Here's the backhoe as it sits. Just got a second coat of gloss black on there. Unfortunately, I'm painting it with a brush along with the hydraulic tank there. So it's going a little bit slower than I was hoping, but it's slowly getting there. Once this paint dries, I think I can put one more coat on it and then start finally assembling everything. And then we can do a test dig with it. Got everything roughly wired up and mocked up. Obviously this is going to get all cleaned up whenever I'm all done. But I got the return line all buttoned up. Got the supply line with a little P-clamp on there. The engine's all bolted down. I got 5 gallons of hydraulic fluid in the tank. I'm going to put a little bit of gas in my gas tank here. I ran a new line with a fuel shut off. I'm going to check the oil on the motor real quick. Make sure that that's at a decent level. And then fingers crossed, I'm going to try and fire this thing up. And obviously the garage is kind of a mess. Always is. Got too many projects going on here. But I'm going to try and move up and down the outriggers. So I'm going to kick the welder back a little bit. But fingers crossed that this works. I'm hoping that this pump isn't too strong. Although it would be pretty easy to swap out for a smaller gallon per minute. But yeah, let's set the camera up, get some fuel in that tank, and see if this bad boy will fire up and somewhat work. Okay, so I don't know if I'm not getting fuel or if the motor's just not happy. Okay. Well, I'm gonna check if it's getting fuel, and then we'll come back.